am Dr. Ouida McAfee, Director of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. Welcome to the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning podcast here at Coahoma Community College. And today we have joining us Mr. Jeremy Pittman. Welcome, Mr. Pittman.
Welcome, and good morning, Dr. McAfee. I take it all as well on this May morning.
It is, and I am so happy that you have chosen to join us this morning. Will you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Oh man, well let's see. I guess seeing that I'm off of work, I was going to say that I'm the greatest spades player of all time, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Professionally, though, I here at Coahoma Community College. I've been here since 2005. I'm the founding director of the Honors College program, the first and only director of that, and very thankful to Dr. Valmus Town for their opportunity and Dr. Rolanda Brown to lead that program. Well, my primary assignment here at the college is teaching in the Business and Computer Information Systems department. I teach business law, business statistics, computer programming 1, computer programming 2. I've taught intro to business, business communications. I've done a wide variety of things, Dr. McAfee, but I'm primarily assigned to teach sophomore students in the department. So I do have an opportunity to teach a lot of them. And I think that kind of leads into what we're here to talk about today, which is just trying to make sure that students who are coming to school, because oftentimes they sit in classes and trying to make sure that they can understand what the value proposition is. What else can I get out of this class other than just getting an A, B, or C? Or a D, because D's do graduate too.
That's right. That is true. They enter into the grade point average as well.
Yes,
So you've jumped into our topic, which is including micro-credentials, right, into existing curriculum. And I know so many people are going to be interested in hearing what you have to say about this. So what is a micro-credential?
Oh, pretty much. So I guess the best way that I think about this term, and I think about it in a very non-academic way, but I think about that micro-credential is, to me, it's just it's a little small piece of a bigger puzzle. Those students are coming to school here, and we're talking about on the academic side now. They're coming here maybe for that associate degree. They might be a transient student taking a course. They could be a student that is, possibly just here taking a class for enrichment. But that micro-credential could actually align to an outcome in the class. I think about it like a little certificate. I know badging is a big thing now. But it's a way for a student to kind of show that they have some type of mastery of a particular skill inside of a particular course that might be tied to an outcome.
Okay, so what are some examples?
You know what? I think the best example, and so as I'm sitting here thinking about this and talking to you, I've implemented this inside the computer programming course now. We have the Prepare Learn application that's available to students. Yay, Prepare.
Yay, Prepare. Well, let me stop you right there, because I know it's in your introduction. You're very modest. So what else can you tell us about Prepare?
Well, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm also a Prepare faculty, but I'm a Prepare Center HBCU faculty member.
Yay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I don't too much like to talk about me per se, and I do appreciate you for getting me to talk about it. But yes, ma'am. But even inside of that Propel, and that's been a very transformative program, and learned a lot, from peers. And what I like about it is, there's these massively open online courses, and so you get paired up with people. One of my programming students in particular, one of the main outcomes of the computer programming 1 class is to be able to create algorithms and be able to solve problems. So I told the student, I said, well, listen, for extra credit so you can go ahead and you can get some extra points, I want you to take a class on cybersecurity, or I want you to take any class on coding, earn that micro-credential, and when you get that micro-credential, send me a copy of it, and I'm going to take you up to the next highest letter grade. It's not a giveaway. Those, oftentimes, courses like those that are inside of programs like Propel Learn, there is a time commitment to it. And so as a faculty member, I know that if I'm teaching a computer programming 1 class, it's a 3-hour course. meeting twice a week for 15 weeks, that's 45 hours. If I can get a student to spend 10 to 15 hours inside of a class where they're earning a micro credential, then I feel pretty good about taking them up a letter grade, especially if it maps back to the student learning outcomes or the program learning outcomes.
Exactly. So tell us some more about, because I know you have like 3 steps on how you integrate. You told us a little bit about how you integrate by using the outcomes, and what about as it relates to the workforce and the credentials being stackable?
So let's talk about that for a minute. So I have my bread and butter class. I have a bread and butter class. I've been teaching this class. Like I said, started here in 2005, and I have forever been tethered to being the computer teacher. That's how people know me, even though I teach more business courses now. But saying that to say, I teach computer applications. Dr. McAfee, there's a whole bunch of good stuff that go on in that class. I'm the best instructor that's doing it, not knocking anybody. I just know my skill set.
I hear you.
Being an entrepreneur, owning my own business. And so we can talk about the fact that when a student comes and sits down with me and they're learning Excel, and I'm teaching them how to do that budget. So what happens is that's a specific outcome for that class. So we have various different programs. So there is the Microsoft Office user certification on the basic level for Excel. There's a partnership. We can connect the student up if they want to get that credential. Inside of the Cengage Learning Platform, students can take the practice math certifications. And so if they take the actual practice exam and they score at a certain level, they get that badge showing that they have that skill set.
And the math is Microsoft Office?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's the Office certification. Now, the name of it may have changed. I'm telling my age here when I said math.
Yeah.
But certainly there is a Microsoft certification for Excel. And so how that maps is this. There's that student learning outcome that's inside of the course that speaks to being able to use spreadsheets. So they get that credential. And so when we even talk to the student about what that credential should look like, we don't call that Excel basics now. No, we're not going to do that. If I have a student, Dr. McAfee, if I say, look, go home tonight. My mama used to have a little notebook that she wrote all her bills in, and she would pull it out, and she would have it over several months. And she would even put notes down there at the bottom talking about the differences between each month. Mama was doing data analysis.
That's right.
That's what she was doing. So we would call that credential data analysis with Excel. We could use rubrics and digital badges to help students to understand how to earn the credential, and then to demonstrate and how to earn it. And then what you do is, instead of making something that is just totally different and is nuanced, because again, we got face-to-face students and we have online, we're going to embed that inside of our computer applications class. And guess what? Sometimes students don't even know that that's actually there. I use a lot of projects in my course. So for example, when you finish the 4th project inside of Computer Applications 1, you have actually earned and demonstrated enough skill set to get that data analysis credential inside of Cengage. And so that's one of the best things. And of course, the Cengage platform with MindTap and SAM, it gives them instantaneous feedback. And then plus they can come and talk to me about the troubleshooting. But the last thing is, so we've talked about how it has to align. We want to align with those specific measurable outcomes. We talked about how we embed it inside of our courses, making sure that those micro-credentials map to things that are authentic, performance-based assessments. And the very last thing that we have to do, that we should do, is make them stackable and portable. So students can get an account with Credly, and so they can take their badges with them. I encourage them to use LinkedIn. We actually make a LinkedIn profile in the course.
Good.
And so we can actually map those over. But then what happens is, they can combine those credentials into a larger qualification. It helps the institution out with assessment for accreditation purposes. And I mean, it's a really easy thing. And even though I just gave an example with business, there are a lot of different credentials that are out there for different types of things. I think faculty have to kind of open their mind up to it and get out and just do a little bit of searching and just seeing the value proposition and providing something to a student other than just a grade. Because a lot of times students don't understand, oh, why do I have to take this class? So yeah.
Okay, so excellent points. Excellent points. And thank you for speaking directly to your peers, our peers of faculty, and saying, this is how it's used. And you even said, that it's an easy thing to do, but it is definitely a value add. Because I heard you mention that the data analyst
Mhm.
certification or micro-credential that you offered, that one of your students got or some of your students got, and how that relates to the workforce, because that is a job that is in demand right now. And
Mhm.
so, and that's a job that can be done remotely or here in Mississippi, right? And so that's further helping our students. And I really love the example that you gave of your mom, of how she was doing data analysis, but it wasn't called that, but she
Right.
was doing it, and she was doing it manually. And I think that's something that's very important for our students to know, the intellectual property that they already have, that they bring with them, that you can actually get a certification and use what you got to get what you want, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So the thing about it is, I've sat in a lot of professional development here.
Uh-huh.
A lot of my peers, they've came from K through 12. And it's a great thing, knowing understanding pedagogy. Uh, my background is in IT and training, so I see the world just a little bit differently. I think about those principles of andragogy. I hope I said it right this morning. I
You
think
did.
about teaching adults. Teaching adults is different than teaching little children, although there are some things that may be the same. I ain't gonna over talk it, but this is kind of what I know about teaching grown folk. When I first got here, I understood being 25 years old, standing in a classroom with folk probably similar to my same age, like, okay, what in the world is this man doing here? But the thing about it is, it's always making sure that whatever lesson that you got going on is relevant. They can see the value proposition and they can see how they can use it immediately. I think one of the best successes of my teaching, and I taught a lot of students in what we used to call the night program around here.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about, oh man, take Mr. Pittman for the computer concepts course, the computer applications course. Even students who wasn't successful in the course, Dr. McAfee, they walked away with something from it.
Yes.
Just think about a student walking to you and say, Mr. Pittman, we had a death in the family, not being morbid, but we had a death in the family. And I was able to do an obituary and I didn't have to pay anybody to do it because you showed us how to rotate a piece of paper around, make it landscape in Excel. You showed us how to make the leader lines. You showed us how to take images and push them to the back. You showed us how to get images off the internet and how to do a little bit of basics of graphic design. But it's that value proposition, even inside of courses like that. And then you can take it and you can flip this and you can go to business law, teaching business law at night. I teach a lot of entrepreneurs. So we talk about contracts. So again, I think it's about the pedagogist that is standing in front of those students, that person who's practicing, who understands the different needs of the different students who are in there, and making sure that they understand that, hey, every class meeting that I come to, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I should walk away with.
Excellent. We're talking with Mr. Jeremy Pittman. Mr. Pittman, what would you like to leave the audience with today?
The easiest, the one thing I want to just leave everybody with, because I know I can be verbose, but just remember, if you're doing micro credentials, you're not alone. There are a lot of resources that are out here. We know that the campus has a Coursera. There's a Coursera partnership. There's even one with Google, if I'm not mistaken. There's several different ones. Contact CETL. Find out, do a consultation, find out what it is that's available to us here at the institution, firstly. Then secondly, just remember the basic things. If I was a faculty member, I want to do this for the first time. Let's say I was teaching English. Maybe I have a research paper. Maybe I understand that there's maybe a micro credential that somebody could get that says, hey, I'm good at doing research. Pull out my syllabus. And then you know what? Think about those tasks inside of that class. Think about some of the things a little bit more challenging. Identify one and then align that micro credential that you find to that outcome. Then create an authentic performance-based assessment. Supply the student with a rubric. Don't use a quiz now, don't do that. But give them a rubric so they can see it, model it for them. And then finally, if it's possible, then give students a way to stack those credentials. Make sure they know about things like Credly or LinkedIn. And that way they're stackable and portable. That's what I would want folk to remember.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're so fortunate to have you here with us at Coahoma Community College, Mr. Pittman. And I'll be seeing you on campus.
All right. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.